Okay. So can you see my screen?
Mhm.
Okay. So far we have covered multiple things about the software testing, right? And I give you the assignment about the to prepare to prepare the definitions, to prepare the test plan and the few definition about the test plan, right? So I think let me just check your assignments if you have submitted or not. Where is that assignment one? Okay. Mhm. Okay. Okay, I can see, yeah, it's multiple assignments. So, Ali, okay, screenshot. So, Ali, you prepared these things.
Yeah, I prepared.
Okay.
Yeah, I prepared these.
Okay. So, what is ALM, Ali? What is ALM?
What happened?
What is ALM? You mentioned right over here.
ALM
Yeah. What is ALM?
is it creates test cases and you put enter data and stuff like that.
Okay. And what is Selenium?
Selenium is something that software tester tests its cases on.
No. Selenium is something like the automation tool.
Yeah, to test the test plan for the objective that they got, so they could add. It's like the first screen, blank screen for their pages to put in the HTML and stuff like that.
Okay. Okay. And this is your test plan, right? This is like a
The
summary.
top one is my test plan. Yeah, this is
Uh,
like another summary that that
okay, functional, unfunctional, emergent review, page performance, security. Okay. Okay. So this is your test plan, right?
yeah, and that's the like in my own words. Yeah.
So in a test plan, I don't think so. We have like front end, back end. We cannot have the
No,
dynamic
that's
state.
the. I mean the front. So what a front end is they do the starting of the ledger and the and it what they do is they do the end of the ledger. So and the development side, because I was studying the whole thing of what it is. So from the development side, when the developer develops any type of thing, what they do is they have a front end and then they have the bottom end, or they have someone where he does everything. So that's why
But
for Amazon it was
but
for them to create that the developer needed we need, because you said how many developers we need and everything like that. So we need a front end and we need a
but
no.
Ali, in the test plan, there is no need to mention how many developer we need. Test plan is only about the tester, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So why we need to mention the developer? Okay, no worries. And this is your caller, right? This is yours. Okay, software testing plan. Yeah, introduction, scope, test strategy, environment setup, test schedule, then functional to be tested, resource and planning, deliverable, suspension and exit criteria, reimbursement dependencies, risk, okay, tools, documentation and approval. Yeah, this seems to be a test plan. This seems to be a test plan, right? So introduction, you show the what is the importance of this document, this test plan document. Then scope says it test verify which area, what area of the customer product are supposed to get tested. Yeah, so that is called in scope and out scope, right? Scope means what we need to test, and out scope means what we need to exclude from the testing. Then test strategy, yes, it says system test, performance test, security test. We need to do automation test here. Environment setup, that means it set up the software and hardware requirement. Test schedule include the test steps and yeah. So over here, Khola, you can also mention some block like the when start and when end and all those things. But yeah, this pretty much good. Like test will be reviewed, tracked, and approved. Yeah. Control procedure, that means yeah, we're gonna review the stuffs. We're gonna do the bug review meeting. We're gonna do the change review meeting, defect reporting. Yeah, this is something new for me as well. The control procedure. But yeah, it's good to be included in the test plan as it says set of activities to ensure quality in software product. Then functional functions to be tested. Yeah, this type of software testing validate the soft functionality, resource and responsibility, right? So over here, what you can do, okay, yeah, you talk about the tester who can develop the test case, who can give the execute the test case. But over here again, if you can put the block somewhere, it will be good, right? So software tester can execute the test case, software tester can do the that stuffs and those stuffs. Then deliverable, right? So deliverable means test articles. So over here you need to mention what are the deliverables, so what we can deliver to the management team after the testing. So you can just say we will submit this test plan, then we will submit all the test cases, then we will submit all the test data, then we will submit the required traceability metrics. So all those things will become your deliverables for the testing. Then suspension and resumption criteria, it's good. Dependencies, a tester technique in which application requirements are pre-examined for existing software. Initially, in order to, okay, personal dependency, software dependency, test data, risk, yeah, the risk will be technical risk, management risk, personal risk, requirement. Tools. Selenium is one of the oldest and most popular tool for the test automations. Okay. Catalan Studio is another popular automation tools. Yeah, this seems pretty much good because this covered the test plan sections, right? Which I mentioned in the training. Amazon front end, back end, static content, dynamic content, database backend. No. Uh, Okay, guys, I think Ali, can you just revise that video once again, right? What we need to put as a test plans sections, right? What are the different sections we have in the test plan? Then it will be good for you. You are near to that, but sometimes you put the details which combine overall software development life cycle, right? But the test plan
Mm-hmm.
is only focus on software testers, right? So we need to just mention that section because see this is the document that we are talking about, they have some standards, right? So they should have at least some of the sections which are common for everybody, like what is the scope of the document, what are the scope of the functional testing, then what type of the testing we are going to carry forward for that test plan. So everything that should be required in the test plan. You got my point?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you did the detailed analysis, right? You did the detailed analysis, that is good. But when actually that required, when you do the actual testing, right? But over here we are
Yeah.
creating the test plan. You got my point? We are just becoming
Yeah.
a manager and we are creating a test plan. So you see, right, how the Khola and Anthony did. They just mention the section wise what we have to do, what we need, we are excluding from that. We can also improve this test plan more detail, but my only purpose is that you should be aware about what section will be available in the test plan. That's it. Because nobody will ask you, okay, can you create a test plan right now in the interview? No, they will not ask you, but they want to just make sure, are you aware about the test plan or not? You got my point?
Yes. Got it.
Okay, perfect. So we covered the test plan. That is one of the document which is very important for the tester to be understand, right? Whenever they start testing for any project. You got my point. Whenever testers start any project testing, they refer the test plan document, they refer the requirement document, right? And based on that, they will start their testing, what they need to test and what they need to exclude from the testing, what are the different types of testing they need to carry forward. Now the test planning is done, we will talk about test case designing. That is another next level, right? In the test designing, right, let me just open this one. So we're done with the test plan, now we're gonna do test designing, right? That means we are creating a test scenario plus test cases, right? Over here we will talk on these two steps, test scenario and test cases. So what is test scenario, first things, and what is test steps? So in the simple term, I will just say is, let's suppose if you are testing, right, the login functionality of any application, right? So in that to test the login functionality of any application, you require to perform certain steps. You got my point? So okay, so Ali, what steps we need to follow to test the login functionality of any web-based application from scratch?
From scratch, we need to make sure that whatever credentials that we put in are
Yeah.
put in correctly. Like, for example, the login, the username, the password, whatever we, we need.
Okay. And Khola, what your thoughts on this? What type of steps you will follow to test the login functionality?
To test the login functionality.
Yeah.
Hold on. Sorry.
I can hardly hear you. Your voice is too low.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, bit good now.
Sorry, it's because I don't have head, headphones. I don't know, honestly.
Okay, Anthony, can you just let me know what steps you follow to test the login functionality?
Um, from from the previous lesson, I'm assuming that you mean as far as the name, if it's secure, as well as
No, no.
uh,
See. Let me tell you. I am on the laptop. Somebody asked me to go on facebook.com and check the login functionality. Then what I will do?
So basically, what you need to do is you need to check if Facebook.com has all whatever it needs for it to be have like Facebook.com on the top, the signing thing. If they forgot their password, or forgot password, you know, option, like whatever they need, whatever the search engine needs for it to have a website for the user to use the
Okay.
website as soon as they go on Facebook.com.
So website, right? We first need to go to that website, right? So I will mention
Yeah.
like this way. Just see my screen. So first things what I will do, I will just says launch the browser, right? Because to open
So
up,
are you talking? Are you
yeah,
sorry about that? So are you talking about the like this is what I was talking about a few meetings ago when we had a talk where you were like step one, open the browser, step two,
yeah,
like
exactly. Can you
oh
just guide
okay.
me? Yeah.
Yeah, so step one is you open the browser.
Mm-hmm.
Step two is you put in the credentials to see if the credentials went in.
No, no. But so the step two will be we will navigate to the
Yeah, navigate.
application here, application URL, right? Like facebook.com or
Gmail.
gmail.com or something like that.
Yes, yes, that's
Now,
correct.
yeah, now what we will do, before putting the username and password, we will make sure if we are on the right page or not, right? If that page will contain the username text box or password text box or not, right? So I will just
Yes,
says we
that's
will
correct.
verify the page, right, if it is a login page or not. Sometimes it may be possible we hit the URL of the application but the URL is not working, right? It says no, the element is not found or something like that way. You got my point? So these three steps we need to always make sure: launch the application, navigate to the URL, then verify the page if it is a login page or not, right? Then If it is a login page, then what we will do, enter the username, right? And then we will do fifth, enter the password, and then what we will do, click on login button, right? At the 7, what we will do, verify the page after the login click. So it should be the dashboard page.
Yeah.
Once we will click on any application, right? If it is login successfully, then it will land us to the dashboard page. Then we will say close the browser. These are the simple steps we will do to test the login functionality. You got my point? Launch, navigate to the URL, then verify, then enter the username, enter the password, click on login button, then verify the again dashboard page, right? We will verify the dashboard page and then close the browser. You got my point? So what we
Yeah.
will call them, this is the steps. You got my point? This is the detailed steps which we follow to test or verify login functionality, right? To test and verify the login functionality. Understood? Ali, are you following?
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are the detailed steps we follow to test the login functionality, right? So this will come under the test case. You got my point? That is come under the test case. Then what is test scenario? The test scenario is the, in the simple term, you can just say is a one line of description, right? Test scenario is a one liner description about the test condition, right? Means what we are going to test actually, right? So over here, if you want to test the login functionality, right, then what will be the our test scenario? Our test scenario will be verify the login functionality. Simple. If we just says verify the login functionality, that means this is our test scenario. This is the scenario we need to test. Verify the login functionality. You got my point? Because when you talk in the meeting, right, about the testing, you cannot describe detailed steps, right, about test cases. You can just verify, okay, what type of the testing you have done. So we have done on the login page, we have verified the login page functionality, we have verified the search functionality, we have verified the payment functionality, we have verified the order functionality, like that way. So you only speak about the scenario, and when somebody go into the detail, then they will find the test case, means test steps about that scenario. You got my point? This is the difference between these two. Test scenario will talk on the top level of point of view, where test cases will have detailed steps, right? Along with these steps, what else test cases will have? It will have the number of sorry, the test data which we require to perform the test steps. Then it will have expected outcome, output, then actual output, then what it will have, okay, the result, right? If it is pass, failed, if it is pass, failed, or skipped, right? Then any comments from the tester, comments from the tester. So this is also we will see in the test cases. When we execute the test cases, we can also see this information, right? Now there are different way to define the test cases. You got my point? There are different format, there are different way to define the test cases, I will just say. So over here, if you see, I have created one sample test case. You see over here. So over here it says verify all the features on user list for the employee page, right? So employee is my page and this is the future user list under the employee page, right? So you can also mention like this way, verify the search functionality under the Google page, right? Something like that way. Or you can also say verify the order booking functionality under the Amazon page or eBay page or whatever the application you are testing, right? So this will give the overall idea if somebody watching this case, right? This is a test case format, right? If I just, you see overall how it's look like. So if somebody is watching this one, they will understand, okay, this is talking about verify the booking functionality of the Amazon page, right? So same way you can check everything over here. Now what it will have, you see, it have test suite. This is mainly we will use when we are working on the actual environment, right? What version of that particular application, right? This version will be given by the developer, right? Then what is the application name, then who has created, you see, the created means who designed, who created these test cases on the first, then who approved, right? And who execute. You got my point? These are totally three different terms. Who approved, who execute means, execution means will come under the test execution. You remember the step 5. First we design the test case, then we set up the test environment, and once we have the things from the developer, once we have the application from the developer, right, then we will start on that particular stuffs. You got my point? So that is called the executed by. It may be possible that one tester will design the test case and it can be executed by the another tester. Then we will have the dates when it is created, who approved on which date, and execution date. Then we will have total number of steps, past steps, failed steps, right? So based on that we will also mention, okay, total we have 78 steps and out of 78, 70 steps pass and 8 steps failed, right? Something like that way you mention over here. Then this is the upper view of the test case, it should be look like. But if you go and search in Google, you will find different format of the test view. There are different things on the test view you can see on the Google, right? Many company will have their own customization, many company will have their own customization on the test cases. So this is what I found, it's very easy to maintain and clear for the people who refer, right? Then I will have the test steps. You see the steps definitions. What are the steps we have? Prerequisite, test data, expected result, and then actual result, right? And status and comment, right? So as a part of test case designing, we should only concern on these things till expected result, right? Because actual result we will track when we execute this test case along with the application, right? But as of now we are just designing the test case. Understand guys, this is a difference. We are just designing the test case, and once we will finish the designing, we will store this test case somewhere in the common folder, right? And whenever we get the build from the developer to test, we will open the same test case, will enter our execution steps, what is the actual result and what is if it is pass or failed, right? Then we will save it again, and that is called execution of the test case. Designing the test case and execution of the test case, totally different things. Am I clear, Ali?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
yeah,
So
you're clear.
yeah, so first we design, then we save at some location. Then when after 1 or 2 week, when we have from the developer, okay, now the application is ready for testing, then we open the same test case and we enter the executed by, we enter the executed date, right? We will enter our name over here, right? And we put the date over here, and then we start following the steps, right? So you see the few things that are the common, right? It says verify the search box functionality, right? So in the application there are many search box based on the username, employee name, reporting person, and branch, and all those things. Verify the sorting option on all the column, right? So sometimes if you have seen, like few application will have grid, right? So let me just show you what type of grid they have. They uh, employee grid, right? Employee grid. So you see, sometimes in the application we have such grid. Uh, you see this application. You see this is a grid, employee grid, right? So over here you see first name, last name, assignment, and all those things. We can sort on them, right? Sort means ascending and descending, alphanumerical, A to Z or Z to 8. If it is a numerical value, right, then maximum to minimum, minimum to maximum. We can also put the search. You see the search on the top, find button. So it should be search based on the first name, last name, assignment, and everything. So these are the grid you will normally see when you start working on any application, right? You see this is one of the grid. So over here you can see those information. Okay, so let me just show you. Okay, and you see the grid. This should be the grid look like employee title. You see over here little icon beside the title. This is sorting. This is called sorting. This is called sorting. Now if you click on the department, it will also get sorted, right? Over here you see the filter the employee means search the employee. So if I want to search with the Steve, right, I can type over here Steve. So over here I was talking about search functionality, sorting and search functionality for all the columns, right? These are the different columns: employee, title, department, control, right? So these are the different columns, you see. Okay, so when you start for any application, the application will look like this way. You got my point? These are the real application will look like nowadays, right? Assigning the activities and all those things. Okay, now let's we jump to the screen again. Yeah, so what is the test cases and test scenario? Again we will go with the definitions, right? The test scenario is defined as any functionality that can be tested, right, in the single line. It's a single line description of actual functionality that we are going to test, right? It is also called test condition or test possibility. You got my point? It is also called test condition and test possibility. Now, this is your part of assignment, right? Why we need a test scenario? Advantage and disadvantage of the test scenario. Write down 50 examples of the test scenario, right? I give you the hint, right? They verify the order booking functionality for Amazon page. Similar, try to write down 15 example by yourself. Everything will start with the verify, then functionality we need to test, then on which application we need to test. Okay. Now, what is test case? As I told you, right? The test case is the set of action executed to verify the features and functionality. It contains test steps, it contains test data, it contains the precondition, post condition, right? What are the after doing the testing, what is the action and all those things. The test case includes specific variable or condition that test engineer is going to be compared, right? So over here you see we have two things. First things what we can expect, right? Once we perform that steps, what we can expect as a part of result. And when we do the actual testing, then whatever the actual is coming, we can mention over here, right? Then status will be if the test case is passed, failed or not, right? Then the comment. You got my point? So everything will be there. I will give you this one as part of sampling, right? You can refer over here. You see I have written the same thing. Launch the browser, navigate to the URL, verify the login page, right? We just talked. Enter the username, enter the password, click on login button, verify, close the browser. You see, so what type of test data we required? So browser we required Google Chrome. Application URL we required to go with this URL. Verify the login page means we can verify the login page title. So this should be the title of the page. Then what is the username we need to enter? what is the password we need to enter. This will become test data, guys. Whatever data helping us to perform the testing, that is become the test data. Okay, so over here these are the test data, and that's the reason they are mentioned under the test data column, right? Then once we do, okay, launch the browser, once we click on the Google Chrome, then system should allow user to load the browser, means system should allow user to launch the browser. Then navigate to the application, this application, if we enter this application on a browser, then what it should do, so it says system should allow user to open all information on the application URL, means that application URL should open all the page information, right? Then everything, user should allow to enter the username into the username text box, user password text box. Then click on the button, not the text box over here. It should say button, right? Click on the button, login button, right? Then verify the page into the page. So similar to this one, you need to mention in your test cases. I will also give you this copy of these test cases, right? So just try to create multiple test cases for your application. Take Amazon, take any application that you want, right? You can take YouTube as well, right? Anything you want to take part as an application, and try to create the test cases for that. This is the main thing. This is for you. This is not like the test plan is for your manager, but test cases is for tester. Zero, the fresher can also create the test cases, then experienced person can also create the test cases. You got my point. The difference is that how detail you go, what steps you covered, right? That is the make more difference over here. Now let me give you the few example, right? So over here on the screen you can see, right? The first test scenario says check the login functionality, right? Now, as we discuss, right, the login functionality steps, but over here we have few more steps, sample steps, test cases. Check the system behavior when we enter the email ID and password, valid email address, a valid username and valid password. Then we have the invalid email, invalid username and valid password. So there are four combination. You see, there are four combination to validate those information. Then over here we can also do one thing. Rather than entering username and password, if we click on the login button, right, then we can check what will happen. So these are all the test cases. These are the all possible test cases we are doing on the login functionality, right? What will happen if we checkbox the keep me sign in checkbox, right? What will happen if we click on the forgot password link? What will happen if you do not enter valid information in the login page? So everything you tested over here, positive side and the negative side. You got my point. Any test case cannot be tested using the positive test scenario, guys. Always remember, if you are testing something, right, that means you are your main aim to find the bug. The tester will always aim to find the bug. They cannot test the application with the positive mindset, right? You should pick up the application and just says I will find out at least 3 bugs in this application. This is how the tester work. You got my point. So you need to test the positive scenario, right, based on the requirement. Then you need to also think the negative scenario, what the negative criteria you can apply to break this system, right? Suppose if somebody says, okay, this is a flight booking application, right, and this tag box will allow you to book the maximum 5 tickets. So that does not mean you create your test case for only 5 tickets. You should create the test case for 6 tickets as well, right? Try to break the system. That is the part of tester role, right? So over here there is one functionality, check the login functionality, and these are the sample test cases for that, right? And each test cases will have sample test steps to follow, right? What kind of test steps they will follow. Then what is their expected outcome, what is their actual outcome, what type of the test data they require, right? Then the result, if it is pass, failed or skipped. So all those things you need to mention in your test case, right? So for each and every lines, right, for each and every lines you can create for each and every lines you can create the test this sheet, right, for the positive, for the negative and all those things. You got my point, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, So now this is the part of your assignment, right? This is a part of your assignment. I have mentioned the first test scenario, but for other test scenario, you need to mention the test cases like the same way that I have done on the screen, right? Just write down. I do not want you to create the Excel for each and everything, right? But just write down the sample test cases for checking the search functionality, sample test cases to checking the product description page, sample test cases for payment functionality, order history, and everything, right? So when I
So
just
when you
say,
mean
yeah,
when you mean search functionality, you mean like when we go on the specific application and see like internally how their search is, or are you talking about on the URL when we search, for example, when we write Zuzu.com? You want the search
go
functionality of that, or within Zuzu.com when we search for
with it.
something?
This is for Amazon.com. So search functionality
Oh,
for Amazon.com. Okay,
okay,
perfect. So consider the Amazon.com. You will find everything. You got my
okay,
point. Perfect.
okay,
Order history means whatever the past order you have placed from the application, right? So it may be possible you need to log in into the Amazon.com with your credential. Then you can go to the My Order where you can see your all the past orders, right? History means whatever you have done in the past. So that will become your order history page. So check that one as well. You got my point? If you do not have any order, that's fine. But just check how you can verify the order history page. Okay?
okay,
Perfect. Just consider the Amazon.com for your these things, right? So now we covered the test scenario, but now let's we cover the test data. But I will just say let's keep these things as of now. You got my point. Why? Because this is the detailed topics to be discussed. Test cases. Test scenario is very simple, but I want you to create the test cases in detail, right? Give me this one, why we require test scenario, what is, and few things I will also give you as a part of assignment, right? So just finish that stuff, and we will do the next session in the weekdays now. So on Wednesday your night. So again we are meeting on Wednesday your night, and we will go in detail, right? But before that, I want you to revise these stuffs. If you create a separate Excel for each and everything, that is very good. I will give you the Excel format. If you are good to create the Excel, just go and create the Excel. But after next session we will discuss about the few more stuffs about the reporting and all those stuffs. But I want to just use your hand, and in this week we will cover these topics about the test cases, and so hopefully we will go with the automation tools and all those things. You got my point? Then we need to just prepare your resume, and we need to start your marketing of the resume as well. Okay?
okay.
Yeah, perfect. So I will send you this recording along with the Excel sheet, along with the few of the assignment steps that you need to do. Okay, guys?
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Good night. Take care.
All right.